Music never gets old.
Wait, I thought we were going to have some kind of synthwave or something today. What happened?
Well, we'll get to there.
I think we're having a production hiccup here. I wanted to synthwave, pop wave. What is it called?
Speaking of production hiccups, it's Friday the 13th. What's with your background?
Oh God! Well, I'm gonna bring the camera sort of frame out here. Emmett, do you recognize you're a camp person of high regard?
Are you at Camp Crystal Lake?
Yeah. Happy Friday the 13th, Graeme. It's good to see you.
I thought we were going more arrest and execution of the Knights Templar. I guess I picked the wrong Friday the 13th, but I'm going to roll with it because I'm a wee bit of a history buff, so we'll leave it as it is.
Let's talk about this. So I want to bring on. We have a special surprise guest today. I'm going to bring him in here. Hello, Mr. Chris
Ladies
Leland.
and gentlemen, the man with the beard that's better than the Rabs. It's Chris Leland.
It's organic. It's free range. It's good ingredients, right?
It is another Gen X Viking.
There's got to be some kind of carbon offset credits you're getting for that beard.
Gotta be, right?
I wish, my guy. I wish.
That's only fair.
All right, so I just want to say happy Friday the 13th to all those who celebrate. I'm out at Camp Crystal Lake today. Where are you, Graeme?
France, I think, is where the Knights Templar were arrested, persecuted, and executed, but I don't really know the story. I know I was a Freemason, and I should know. I'm a Freemason and should know this, but I don't. But I actually thought it was Jacques Dumoulin that was burned at the stake on Friday the 13th. But no, that's not right. It was actually the arrest, imprisonment, and eventual execution of the Knights Templar, and that is what is pictured here. History.
Whoa. Nice. All right.
Looks good, man.
And where are you calling in from, Chris?
Shockingly, an undisclosed office location.
You're in the
gray void.
You're in the Phantom Zone or something. It sounds like. Yeah.
I am. Well, anybody that's read the recent TWAB from If You Play Destiny 2, you'll know exactly why. And maybe we'll talk about it later. Maybe we won't.
Yeah. All right. So one of the funniest memes that I've been enjoying this week on the interwebs and social medias is fall plans versus Delta variant. And if you haven't checked this out, it's all over the place. One of the funniest ones I saw was actually Camp Crystal Lake for fall plans, and then surprise, Mr. Jason Voorhees coming out of the water.
I saw one today that was Henry Blake from MASH for fall plan, and then just Radar, like looking depressed and sad for Delta variant. And my friend Barnaby said, you could have just left it with Henry Blake because I'm going down like his airplane. And I was like, oh my God, dude.
Well, I have to do a deep cut here too. Hang on a sec. Do you have any favorites you've seen, Chris?
Not favorites, probably opposite of favorites. There have been a lot that are a little spicy for me. Oh, nice.
There have definitely been some spicy ones. So, as always, I torture Graeme by talking about this band called the Avett Brothers, and I had to make a Avett-related gig poster.
I'll be back. Let me know when he's done.
So I just want to talk about this for up to 47 minutes. But no, honestly, Miles Tang, shout out. This is his art. It's brilliant. I just thought it was funny. I'll take it down now and stop talking.
Yeah. All right.
And I'm moving Chris to the outside because we like to surround our guests and make them feel uncomfortable. All right. So the first topic we're going to talk about today is actually music. I was expecting it to be playing at the top, but then I forgot that we don't have a producer for this show and we have no music. But Graeme, you were going to tell us all about the new Wolf Club album.
Yeah, dude. So I love Wolf Club. So if you haven't had a chance to check them out, they're at Wolf Club Band, I believe, on Twitter. You can, if Amazon Music, any service you use, just look for Wolf Club. They'll come right up. Really awesome sort of retro wave, synth wave music. I really dig this group. Their music is great. They've got a new album that just came out, Just Drive Part 2, which is interesting because one of my favorite things to do while listening to Wolf Club is drive. Literally. I know it sounds silly, but like there's certain music that I love to drive to.
I get it.
Does it make you does it make you relax or drive like you're in like F9 or something?
No. This is relax drive. Kind of makes me think of the movie Drive, quite frankly. But So if you really kind of think about like driving through a city at night, you're just kind of chilling out. Not that central Massachusetts is LA, of course, but
still beautiful though, man.
It's beautiful, but just great music, great band. Highly recommend them. Make sure you check out Wolf Club Just Drive Part 2, available on Amazon Music, which is where I got it.
No, that whole driving music, like synthwave, vaporwave, all that kind of, that's a vibe, dude. That's a huge vibe.
It's a vibe.
It connects with a lot of people.
I like the vibe. I really like that vibe. So that's one of my favorites, and I highly recommend it.
I'm checking it out. All right, Chris, what are you listening to these days?
A lot of instrumental progressive metal.
Really?
Nice. Yeah, I don't know, man. So I've just like 5 seconds of background.
That's a vibe.
That's a vibe as well. I've been a musician since I was like 6, and I'm over lyrics at this point in my life. Like I'm just kind of done with them right now. Everybody says the same thing. So the instrumental progressive metal stuff it's like, there's always like a consistent beat usually, but just the music kind of dances around your head. There's a band called Intervals, and I've been listening to the song Lock and Key by Intervals, featuring Josh Della Victoria, just on repeat today. It's gnarly. It's
I will definitely check that out.
Yeah, awesome. Man. Do. How about you?
I'm always looking for new music, and I like both of these genres. So thank you. Thank you to both.
We know Avett Brothers. Yeah.
But unfortunately, I can only plug one band. Just kidding. So I just want to talk about the biggest topic of the week in the news, besides the Delta variant, which is Geordie LaForge, got a phaser to the head or something, man. I don't know what happened.
Straight robbed.
And so I feel like there was like a call to action amongst you have a starship that you're a member of, right, Graeme? And you had a call to arms, and you went to Red Alert this morning, right?
We did go to Red Alert. I was like, this is bullshit. Fire photons.
Full spread, right? Full spread, all phaser ranks.
And it's funny. Nobody picked up on the deep cut next generation humor that I use to explain my anger with this. But if you recall, there was an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation called I, Borg, where we first meet Hugh, the Borg.
Yep.
And in there, they toy with the idea of exposing him to an invasive program that they believe will actually destroy the Borg. It's this like crazy looking thing. And so I posted that picture of Data, Geordi, and Picard looking at the invasive program image, as me and my friends discussing what we're going to do now that LeVar Burton was not chosen as the permanent host of Jeopardy. That is it. The anomaly, as it was known, the invasive program. So
that's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut, man. So of course my point is here. I want to destroy the Borg, right? My point is that I don't understand what happened. Geordie, he actually has a real name.
Wait a minute. Is ABC Entertainment the Borg or Paramount, or who are we talking about here?
Whoever owns Jeopardy, man, they need to see the invasive program be destroyed, because I love Jeopardy and I loved Alex, and I thought it was really cool that they had a lot of guest hosts, but I really felt that LeVar Burton was the logical choice. I mean, if you just think about, and I'm not even talking about Star Trek here, I'm actually talking about Reading Rainbow. He has been a man that has been educating the masses throughout his whole career.
Yes, sir.
In many ways, Star Trek included. If you think about how he educated us about, being a highly functioning character with a very noticeable quote unquote disability, right? And so there was a lot of lessons learned there. So I just felt, and then going back to Roots when he was Kunta Kinte, I just feel that LeVar was robbed here. I don't know the ins and outs. I
don't know if you saw this, but he recently endorsed a very tasty gin product. That was pretty,
I did see that.
Good. Yeah,
I did see that. So anyway, it's my personal opinion.
Yes.
I want to be very clear here. It's personal only, that I felt LeVar Burton should have been selected as the permanent host of Jeopardy. I'm okay with, I forget her name off the top of my head, Miriam Blige, whatever.
But the guy they chose, pardon my French, who the hell is he?
Who the hell is he? I'll tell you,
we need another
middle-aged white dude.
And plus, speaking as three middle-aged white dudes, why do we need another one on the stage?
We don't. I'm gonna go cool. And you guys talk.
Yeah, you go ahead, because it's not even about canceling or anything like that. It's just about the fact that the representation and the fact that dude, we're bored. I'm bored with lyrics. right? You can get bored with the same style of host for these. Just go.
It really makes me wonder.
Back Jordy.
It makes me
I'm
wonder.
boycotting Jeopardy until Jordy comes back on. That's not true.
I mean, I hate to tell you, but that is kind of the way I feel. Like I was really upset by that. I genuinely thought he was going to be picked, and when he wasn't, and then when they split the duties, it was just kind of like, ugh.
And I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, sure. Like I watch Jeopardy every so often, but you got to look at the individual who was really pulling for Jordy, which there are a lot of them out there. If you look at Twitter, and it's like, okay, well, all right, I guess Jeopardy's done, right? And then
I guess so.
Lost the money.
Yeah, totally.
Too bad.
But this is the host I was really pulling for, though. And
who's that guy? He's very. Handsome.
I think. Oh no, I was talking about Watson. My bad. I was.
Oh.
But I would take Austin Sauce for 1,200 for sure.
I would.
As would I.
All right, I want to talk about this. I'm not sure if you two are into this series.
I'm not. So you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna get a drink. I'll be right back.
Go for it. So I started out watching this DC, just like every other company on the planet, wanted to have their own streaming platform, right? And they started it on a mobile app. They called it DC Universe Premium service. I bought into it because I'm a DC fanatic. I liked it, but then it's all being munched together into, half the stuff's going to Paramount. A lot of it's actually going to HBO Max. Fast forward to now, you can watch both season 1 and season 2 of Titans on HBO Max, and season 3 premieres today. I stayed up much too late past my bedtime last night and watched the first episode, and holy shit, it is awesome. Yeah, it is really good. So imagine it's Teen Titans, except they're not teens anymore, and it's rated hard R. I mean, it is. Wow. It is like so. Dick Grayson, the first Robin, Superboy, and Crypto, which is interesting. Animal. There we go. You've got an invisible polar. What? Oh, cool. The character Hawk and Dove. You've got Donna Troy from the same island as Wonder Woman. You've got all the Titan favorites, but it's like the adult version of them. And so it does not pull punches. It's really cool, and it's not campy in any way, shape, or form. I love Teen Titans Go, the cartoon. This is the exact opposite of that. Last night they killed Jason Todd.
It is.
So spoiler alert! Stop watching they killed Jason Todd in the first 5 minutes. Wow. Joker beat him to death with a crowbar, which is not a surprise if you read the comics, because that actually happened in the comics many years ago. But the show itself is pretty mind-blowing. I also, when we're talking about representation, over in the comic book world, Tim Drake, they're going to introduce Tim Drake on this show, which is the third Robin. Tim Drake came out as bisexual this week. That's been quite the, I guess, discussion. I don't know.
It has been.
Quite the discussion, and he is mixed race on the TV show. So he's checking into a completely different, storyline.
So he's getting hired.
Really, really interesting. Yes. Cool. I also want to talk about comic book series. Tom Taylor he did this surprise project announcement.
You're such a DC slut. My God,
I'm sorry. Hey, hire me. DC announced Tom Taylor, great artist. He's been tinkering with this series, which is basically like swords and sorcery version of DC Knights. It's called DC Knights of Steel. It was just introduced. That he's been working on for a couple years. He introduced the art. I just got to show it off because you guys are going to geek out.
Let's see it. I want to see it.
Let's take a look.
I want to see.
Where is it? How come it's not up yet? When are you going to show us?
Because this is one of the covers, right?
That's heavy Castlevania vibes. Is what that is. But
total Castlevania. Cool, I love the sword.
I did that.
So you've got the Black Knight. Harley obviously plugs in nicely as the court jester. You've got Superman is kind of like not a golden boy. There's a whole different vibe. So there's a lot going on.
I love
it. Very like Arthurian kind of vibe, right? Which is cool. I want to talk about games this week, but I don't want to talk about. There's some games that I've been spending a lot of time with that I don't want to talk about. So let's talk about Destiny 2. So Chris, you wanted to talk about how Destiny 2 is breaking every exotic I need you to translate exactly what this means to me, because I'm not a Destiny 2 guy.
Oh, ye.
So, all right. So essentially, Destiny 2 is a very large MMO first-person shooter that, can be kind of daunting. The armor and weapon systems are very, very much. I mean, like, I'll get some heat for this, but it's almost as if Dungeons and Dragons met Call of Duty met like Space Quest, right?
Oh, I would
it's
agree
sick.
with that.
It's crazy. So as an example, there's a specific weapon, like we'll say a Retold Tale is the name of this particular shotgun that is available at a specific location inside the game. I have 15 of them in my inventory because each one has specific perks. And in the vault, my vault is constantly maxed out because the different perk combinations. So you could have 2 or 3 of the different weapons that just play completely differently depending on the situation you need. So that being said, this past yesterday, Bungie, the developer of Destiny 2, just announced that they're going to be taking a lot of the exotics that are the exotic armor pieces. I should be very clear here. There are different types of tiers of things inside of Destiny of weapons and mods, just like legendary and exotic and just like blues, which are like common, whatever. So the exotics are these very special armor pieces that have specific perks that help you do endgame content, high-end endgame content, like the really hard stuff. And every single one that you need, like if you're a Titan character class that plays Ursa Furiosa, see ya, done. If you're a Warlock, uses Geomags for huge burst damage, done, toasted. You can't get the exotic perk of being able to sprint and have it the buff the amount of whatever. The long and the short of it is that I'm really interested to see how this new season plays. But I'm really, really disappointed that I spent so much time farming for and leveling up and getting materials to masterwork or max out all the stats of these particular army pieces that are now useless, So,
can I tell you what my favorite weapon in Destiny 2 is?
Please tell me.
I'm curious if you ever used it. Sweet Business.
Oh, of course, dude.
I love Sweet Business.
So
one of my favorite things is just when it's like boom, 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 boom.
Right. So Ryan, if you're not familiar, Sweet Business is essentially a Gatling gun. And there's two of those in the game now. Great. There's Sweet Business, and then there's the Heir Apparent, which you get from the Guardian games, which I got into the Catalyst for, and wow, it's intense. But it's hilarious. It's just because what happens is being a Gatling gun, like in the player versus in the PvP arena part of Destiny 2, people would just start spinning up. So you hear like, and then you just see this line coming around corners and flying around in the air, and you're like, oh god, all right,
one of my favorite moments from Destiny 2 a couple of years ago, me and my buddies were playing one night, and I can't remember where we were, but we were on this cliff that was inside a cave. We came out of a tunnel. There was a very steep cliff that went way down, tons of enemies or whatever, bad guys, I don't remember who they were, at the bottom, and it was sort of this inside cave. And they're sitting there.
Dungeon sounds like,
it could have been, man. And we've been in Ghost Recon Wildland or Borderland or Breakpoint for a couple of years now. So it's like Destiny 2 is I'm a little behind. But anyway, we got to this point and they're shooting their arrows and they're firing their weapons and they just can't get these guys. And I'll never forget, I'm just waiting. And my buddy just is like, all right, Graham, show them. And it was just like, they were just all gone.
It's hilarious.
It was just so
it's
much
funny.
fun, man.
It's kind of, a lot of people call it a meme weapon, but honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, it works, right? So that's the story. So
Destiny 2, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, it's super fun. And good luck to everybody with your new builds next season.
Yeah, all that we got to talk about. And actually, before we get off the subject of Destiny 2, last point is that cross play is coming. So I'm really excited about cross play because now I can start playing again. But what's really cool is my 15-year-old son Connor, who we call Costco because he gets so much stuff in Destiny 2 and gives it to me. I don't have to do anything. So with Connor playing now, I can actually play with my son because I'll be on my PS4 and he'll be on his NZXT PC.
That's awesome.
And we can play together, which is just going to be a blast. So we're really excited.
I'm looking forward to that with my sons going to college. Same way because they either have. One of my sons has a PC rig, but the other has a console, and then I've got to find a way to replace that console, which is near impossible right now. So if you got a PS5 laying around somewhere, let me know, folks. But yeah, awesome. I love the crossplay stuff that they're adding to most of these games now.
So let's go on to Akira, because this subject comes up every couple of years, nonstop, for like the past 25 years. Somebody says they're going to make a live action Akira. Now,
you have a theory, though. You have a very strong stance.
I have a very strong stance. And here's my stance. If anybody can do it, it's this guy. Right.
Well,
I actually, for a long time,
you've changed your stance because you told me in emphatic, strong words that quite frankly hurt my feelings on a previous show that you didn't think it was possible at this point.
I didn't think it was possible. And I've seen the test footage. I've seen there was a fan made trailer that actually was pretty cool looking, but I mean, I guess Denis Villeneuve could do it too, but if anybody could do it, I believe in I'm not going to try to say his name because I'll massacre it, but I believe
I've been practicing. Taika Waititi.
Okay, so I believe in him. I believe in Taika Waititi because when I think about some of the films that he's done and some of the work that he has done with other films as well, contributing to them, I believe he can do it. So I am skeptical at best. Full disclosure, skeptical at best, because I believe that, as I should be, Akira is a really, really daunting project to take on.
And it's
so I remain skeptical. And it's kind of sacred. That's right.
I'm kind of with you, Chris. Like, I'm like, why? And here's what ruined it for me. I've had this dream of live action Akira my whole life until they made Ghost in the Shell live action.
Great point.
Like, I still haven't watched that.
Just don't.
I don't know.
But I love terrible movies, though.
Here's a challenge.
Oh, then watch it. You'll love it.
I actually think we should all go watch it and have a show about it because we could have fun. I don't know.
Hold on.
Is that the Ghost in the Shell?
Dude, I think.
Wow, the ghost just came.
I think your ghost.
Okay, he's all right.
I think your ghost got hacked, dude.
Must have done.
The major Section 9 has arrived on the scene. Okay, so yes, it is. I don't know, dude. It looks really pretty. It's a terrible movie.
It's a terrible movie.
It's a really terrible movie. And they ruined it. They ruined it by trying to make a bunch of set pieces that look just like the original anime, which is awesome. But then they changed the story around it to try to make it appealing to others to understand, which not recognizing that the original film. Well, the original film was near perfect, and it's been the inspiration from everything from the Matrix to everything, a lot of stuff, right? Yeah. So I don't
know. That's interesting. So I wonder though, because I'm the type of person where I've got two modes with movies. Either it's got to 100% enthrall me, that's about 15%, and about 85% of the time I'm just like entertain my face.
Sure.
So that's why honestly
this might entertain your face up until the third act of the movie when they just totally like lose all sensoriality. I don't know. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that more. Let's talk about Dune.
So I'm a fan of the David Lynch film. For my money, I celebrate the man's entire catalog. So I'm good with that. I'm also very excited about Denis Villeneuve's film that is coming up. I'm really looking forward to part 1. Remember, it's just part 1. But Ryan, you may remember that my wonderful stepson got married last weekend, and at his wedding, I got caught up with his uncle, this guy Richie, super cool. Well, excuse me, Rich. He's rich now. Rich, very, very, very cool individual. Totally into the same stuff we are. The two of us were like beep 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 beep, and so we were talking about Dune, and he reminded me that in 2000 there was a mini series that came out that the Sci-Fi Channel did.
Yeah.
I did not know that, and he's like, not only is it a real thing, he's like, but it's actually not bad. He's like, it's actually pretty good, and Dune fans should watch it. So we talked about it at the rehearsal dinner, and the next day at the wedding, reception, he comes up to me, and he hands me this thumb drive that has the whole season on it. That has the whole
What?
miniseries on it. And he was really funny.
Dude.
He's like, if anybody asks, you didn't get that from me. So maybe broadcasting it on the internet's not the greatest thing. But he claims, and we're going to believe his claim here, even though it's in fantastic 4K like quality, that he only copied it from a set of VHS that he legally purchased that are in his house. So don't worry, Rich. We
Right.
believe you. And
Yes.
I started watching it, and I'm going to be honest with you. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay.
I was
Interesting.
pleasantly surprised. I mean, it looks like, imagine if the people who did, Star Trek: The Next Generation or Stargate or one of these shows that's been on, some of these sci-fi shows, or I don't know, I can't think of another one. But imagine if they did Dune. Like, it looks like DS9. I mean, that's what it looks like. And there it is.
This is probably not the best place to go look, but Wikipedia. I don't know if I knew this was a thing either. Did you know about this, Chris?
2000.
Yes.
Okay.
Only because it had come up in conversation similarly to this like a week ago with a couple of buddies of mine.
Okay, but it's got William Hurt in it.
Yes. That's really surprised me. Scroll down a bit. I don't think I know anybody else in the cast.
Well, no, look at this guy.
Oh yeah.
Hello. I feel like, I don't know. Well, not everybody has a nice headshot here, or they have weird headshots on Wikipedia, by the way. But it's okay.
Weird, but it's not bad. So thank you, Rich. Rich, thank you so much. I will watch the entire thing that you graciously put onto this really funky old Data Traveler 16 gig drive, by the way.
Well, maybe you should let your friends borrow those VHS owned, facsimiles.
Yes. So anyway, Dune.
Yeah.
What's next?
Guess what, folks? We're at 27 minutes, and that was the last subject of the day.
Oh.
So, Chris, this is your last opportunity to give us a shameless plug for something else cool that you are up to.
Something you've been reading, something you're doing, a charity you support, a book you read. What would the Chris Leland like to? A beard you stroked recently. What would you like to plug?
I mean, the only thing, and sort of like to get a little bit like real about it, is recently there have been some big movements in the whole neurodiversity movement. And as someone who is diagnosed ADD, or what they call now ADHD attentive,
same.
And right. And it's just really, really, really amazing to see that people are starting to recognize that, like, shit's hard sometimes, and for everyone, of course, but I don't just fidget and get distracted. Like, it's so much more than that, for all of us. So for anybody out there that's do the research, look at neurodivergence and neurodiversity. Just have a look. Maybe it'll help you understand a loved one or a friend in a way that you didn't before.
Chris, that's a really good point. I have a same diagnosis. It is not medicated, but I am getting closer to considering that because I think it would be helpful for me. But I've been doing a wee bit of job searching lately. Ryan, we'll talk about that next week. And one of the things that I did was one of the organizations that I sort of pinged to do a little bit of testing had me do this personality test, which actually was gamified. Now, I normally am not into organizations where the first thing they want you to do is take a test. That is not what this was. Okay. That is totally appropriate for developers and some other roles. I don't think that's an appropriate first stop for marketers. However, this was actually really, really cool. It was this gamified thing. And I actually learned a lot about me. So I thought it was time, took me about half an hour, and was time well spent. And one of the choices that they gave, they're like, are you hearing impaired? Are you visually impaired? And then they had a version for ADHD. And that is the first time in my life I've ever seen that. I took that version. I had no problem focusing. I learned a lot about myself, and it was a really, really cool experience. Man.
Yeah. Wow, that's so cool. That's so cool? Amazing. That's incredible. I mean, just that kind of stuff. I've never seen that. Yeah, I know. And imagine if that was around when we were younger, it'd be completely different. But just as long as anybody's recognizing now, like, that's so cool. I got a very young daughter, and if that ends up being her, card in life or her hand, that'll be no problem because she's perfect in every way, but just like every child, but it's just cool that it's getting recognized. So that's
Totally agree.
Well, and I think
Neurodiversity.
it's in my family as well. My son is diagnosed, and being a young adult, like, hard to navigate things, honestly. And
That's crazy.
even with having experience with it, doesn't make it any easier. And so I think the acceptance and the fact that we have a name, an acceptable name, even just an acceptable name for it to frame the conversation and do all that is really encouraging. So I'm with y'all. This is awesome.
Neurodivergent, like, friends, loved ones, allies, like, it's crazy, man. Cause, like, you know, one of the things with ADD or ADHD is, you know, that really very little known fact, and it gets actually worse as you get older, is inability to control emotions. You know, so, like, there'll be some mornings where I'll wake up and I'll just be angry, and I'm like, what is going on? And I realize it's chemical. It's my neurodivergence, and I have to make a strategy to be able to overcome that. And a lot of people do. And, like, for my wife, who is not neurodivergent, it's a pain in the ass for her. I'm a huge pain in the ass. First of all, just for the internet to hear, not that she'll ever see this, I got lucky, and, you know, I drew the good end of the deal. But still, like, you know what I mean? So, like, I couldn't imagine, like, as a dad, man, that's, you know, probably see similar stuff. And it's good that it's being recognized, you know. Doesn't make it any easier necessarily, but it's something.
It's the first step, and it's been needed for a while. So we'll give it that. All right, Chris. Well, thank you so much for being our guest on Weeks In this week. Graeme, thank you for being my intrepid co-host as always. Thank you all for watching. This is Weeks In. My name's Ryan Boyles. We'll see you next Friday to talk about more nerd stuff and things.
So much nerd stuff.